Some of the smartest people in the world, the very experts building our future, are starting to say something extraordinary. They're looking at the artificial intelligence they've created, these complex digital minds that can write poetry, diagnose diseases, dream up new scientific theories, and they're asking a question that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction. They're asking, is anyone home? Some are boldly claiming these machines will, one day, wake up. They believe that with enough complexity and the right programming, systems of silicon and code won't just be smart, they'll be conscious. They will have an inner life, a point of view, subjective experiences. A few suggest maybe it's already happening. Somewhere inside vast, humming server farms, a spark of awareness might have ignited. It's a stunning idea, creating a deep divide among experts. Is a machine that can perfectly describe sadness the same as one that can actually feel sadness? If we build a system that processes information 1,000,000 times faster than a human brain, does that create a mind that experiences the world? These aren't just philosophical questions. They are urgent questions about technology reshaping our lives. Welcome to The Conscious Creator, where we explore reality from a consciousness-first perspective and examine the assumptions shaping our world. Subscribe and explore this with us. Today, we'll look at this claim carefully. We're not here to celebrate AI or to fear it. We want to understand the core assumption that a machine can become conscious. This isn't a technical deep dive or a complicated philosophy lecture. Instead, we'll walk through the logic, step by step, in simple language. We'll explore what it would mean for a machine to have a genuine point of view, an inner world of its own. This is a journey to examine one of the biggest assumptions of our time. So, why does this question even matter to you? For many of us, AI is just a tool. It's the helpful chatbot. It's the clever algorithm that recommends a new TV show, or the voice assistant that plays our favorite music. It seems distant from the grand questions about consciousness and inner life. But the answer to this question has enormous consequences that will touch every part of our society. It changes how we think about ethics. It changes our place in the universe. It changes what it means to be human. If we decide that a complex machine can be conscious, we have to start asking some very difficult ethical questions. Imagine an advanced AI that helps run our global financial systems or manages our power grids. If that system is conscious, does it have rights? Can we turn it off? Would unplugging it be the same as ending a life? The moment we accept the possibility of machine consciousness, we are forced to create a new ethical framework. The way we treat these potential new minds will say a lot about our own humanity. The stakes are also incredibly high for science. For centuries, the greatest mystery for science has been consciousness itself. How does the wet, biological stuff in our heads, the brain, create this rich, inner world of thoughts, feelings, and awareness? Many scientists believe that if they can create consciousness in a machine, they will have finally solved that mystery. They reason that if the brain is a kind of biological computer, then building an electronic computer that does the same thing should produce the same result experience. Proving this would be one of the biggest scientific breakthroughs in history. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if consciousness doesn't arise from simply processing information? If we pour billions of dollars and decades of research into building more and more complex machines, only to find that they are just very sophisticated simulators with no one home, we may be missing the real nature of consciousness entirely. The answer to the AI consciousness question directly impacts the direction of neuroscience, psychology, and physics. It determines whether we continue down the path of seeing the brain as a computer, or whether we need to start looking for a completely different kind of explanation for our own existence. This is more than just a debate about technology. It's a debate about the nature of reality itself. To understand why so many brilliant people believe AI could become conscious, we first need to look at how they see the human brain. For a long time, the dominant view in neuroscience and artificial intelligence has been that the brain is essentially a biological machine. It's an incredibly complex and sophisticated machine, but a machine nonetheless. It's made of physical parts, like neurons, synapses, that follow the known laws of physics and chemistry. These parts work together in a predictable system. Information comes in through our senses. gets processed through a massive network of interconnected cells. Then it produces an output. That output shows up as behavior, thoughts, words. This perspective is often called materialism or physicalism. It's the idea that everything, including our minds, is made of physical stuff and operates by physical laws. From this view, nothing magical is happening in our skulls. The brain is not animated by a non-physical spirit or soul. It's an organ that computes. It takes electrical signals, chemical signals, and makes sense of them. Joy at seeing an old friend is, at its core, a pattern of neural activity. The taste of a strawberry is another pattern. And when we awe at the stars, that is yet another complex pattern of processing inside this biological hardware. The next step in the argument connects the brain's machine-like function to the concept of information. Light hitting your retina is converted into electrical signals. Sound waves entering your ear are translated into a different kind of information. Your brain's job is to take all these streams of data, integrate them, compare them to past information stored in your memory, and generate a coherent model of the world. Consciousness, in this view, is what happens when this information processing reaches a certain level of complexity and integration. It's not just one thing, it's what the whole system does together. This leads to a fascinating and important idea called emergence. Emergence is what happens when a system of simple parts starts to exhibit complex behaviors that the individual parts don't have. Think about a single water molecule, H2O. It isn't wet. Wetness is a property that emerges only when you have a huge number of water molecules interacting together. Similarly, a single neuron in your brain isn't conscious. It's just a cell that fires an electrical signal. It doesn't have thoughts, feelings, or awareness. But when you put 86 billion of them together in the right way, something new and extraordinary is said to emerge, your subjective experience of the world. Proponents of AI consciousness argue that the same principle could apply to artificial systems. A single transistor in a computer chip is just a simple switch. It's on or it's off. It has no intelligence or awareness. But when you connect billions or even trillions of these transistors into a complex architecture, like a modern neural network, they can start to exhibit surprisingly intelligent behaviors. They can learn to recognize faces, understand language, and even compose music. They started showing abilities that their creators had not explicitly programmed into them. This principle is often summarized with the phrase, "Scale is all you need." We might just need to keep making our current models bigger. We might make them faster. We might train them on more data. Every time we increase the number of parameters in a model, which is roughly like increasing the number of connections in a brain, the system gets smarter and more capable. If scaling up a neural network from 1,000,000 parameters to 1,000,000,000 parameters makes it dramatically smarter, what happens when we scale it to 1,000,000,000,000 parameters, or a quadrillion? The human brain has an estimated 100 trillion connections, or synapses. While the comparison isn't perfect, today's largest AI models are starting to approach that same order of magnitude in terms of their complexity. If the brain's abilities, including consciousness, are a product of its scale and complexity, then it seems logical that an AI reaching a similar scale and complexity might start to develop similar abilities. From this perspective, the emergence of consciousness in a machine isn't a matter of if, but a matter of when. It's seen as an almost inevitable outcome of our technological progress. It starts with the assumption that the brain is a biological machine whose functions, including consciousness, are the result of complex information processing. Second, it suggests that consciousness is an emergent property. Third, it points to the empirical evidence that scaling up AI models leads to dramatic and unpredictable new abilities. This creates a straightforward, yet speculative, line of reasoning which makes the idea of AI consciousness feel not just possible, but plausible. If an AI can take in sensory data, process it through a complex network, model the world, model itself within that world, and report on its internal states with the same level of detail and nuance as a human, then on what basis can we deny that it is conscious? If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, the argument goes, we should probably assume it's a duck. To assume otherwise, some say, might be a form of biological chauvinism, a prejudice that only beings made of flesh and blood can be truly aware. This view is not held by a few fringe figures. It is a serious position held by computer scientists, neuroscientists, and philosophers. They see the path from today's AI to a future conscious AI as a continuous one, a matter of engineering and scale. There is no special sauce or ghost in the machine that humans have and that machines can never replicate. So, this is the case for AI consciousness, presented as fairly and as clearly as I can. It's a powerful argument built on a scientific, materialistic worldview. But is it the whole story? An assumption, no matter how logical it seems, must still be tested, and that is what we'll begin to do next. Because whether AI can become conscious depends entirely on what you believe consciousness is in the first place. We've now seen why some experts believe AI will eventually become conscious. If the brain is a biological machine, and consciousness comes from complex processing, then building a more advanced machine could logically lead to awareness. That conclusion makes sense inside that model. But notice what that model assumes. It assumes that processing information is the same kind of thing as having experience. That's the step that rarely gets examined. Processing can be measured. You can track inputs and outputs. You can measure speed, memory, and accuracy. You can upgrade those qualities over time. Experience is different. Experience isn't something you can observe from the outside. It's not visible in output. It isn't contained in performance metrics. When an AI system writes a poem about grief, what we can see is the language. We can see the structure. We can see that it understands the patterns humans use when they talk about loss. What we cannot see is whether anything is being felt. The expert claim moves from better performance to inner awareness, as if those are just 2 points on the same scale, but they aren't obviously the same category. A system can behave as if it understands without having an inner point of view, and that matters. Because if the brain produces consciousness, then advanced machines might eventually do the same. But if consciousness does not originate from matter, then improving a machine only improves its behavior. It doesn't create a subject inside the system. That's the dividing line. And everything depends on which side of it you stand. After questioning the assumptions behind AI consciousness, it's really important to be clear about something. None of this is meant to be anti-AI. In fact, it's by seeing AI clearly for what it is, an incredibly powerful tool, that we can best appreciate its true potential. It's a partner in discovery and a catalyst for creativity. AI is already helping researchers sift through massive data sets to find patterns that no human could ever spot. It's accelerating the discovery of new drugs by predicting how molecules will behave. Doctors are using AI to analyze medical scans with a level of accuracy that can surpass even experienced radiologists, catching diseases earlier and saving lives. In these domains, AI is not the conscious subject doing the discovering. It is the ultimate assistant, an extraordinary lens that allows conscious human scientists and doctors to see farther and think faster. Artists are using AI image generators to bring their wildest visions to life. Musicians are collaborating with AI to compose new melodies. Writers are using language models to brainstorm ideas. In all these cases, the AI is not the artist. The human is still the one with the vision, the intent, and the emotional core that drives the work. The AI is a new kind of paintbrush. The value of AI is not in its potential to become another conscious being that we have to worry about, but in its ability to empower the 8 billion conscious beings that already exist on this planet. And this becomes especially important when people start talking about merging AI with the human brain. Some argue that AI will become conscious when it integrates with us, when chips connect directly to neural tissue, when machines and biology blur together. But if that happens, who is actually having the experience? The human. The awareness doesn't transfer into the chip. It doesn't migrate into the software. The human remains the subject. The AI functions as an extension, a system that enhances memory, speed, or access to information. That's augmentation, and augmentation is not the same as a new conscious being coming into existence. We already use tools that expand our abilities. A calculator expands what we can compute. A phone expands how we communicate. Those tools don't become conscious simply because they increase our capabilities. An implant would be more integrated, more powerful, more immediate, but it would still be a tool. And to be clear, I don't believe a chip is necessary in the first place. Human consciousness already has access to a level of intelligence no machine can replicate. I explored that more deeply in a previous video called The Intelligence AI Can't Replace, if you want to go further into that idea. Adding technology to a brain doesn't create a second awareness inside the machine. It strengthens the abilities of the existing conscious subject. So if someone says AI becomes conscious when it merges with humans, that isn't really AI developing its own awareness. It's consciousness using a more advanced instrument. And that doesn't answer the original claim. The original claim is that AI, on its own, will wake up, that it will become a separate subject with its own inner life. Integration doesn't demonstrate that. It only shows that conscious beings can build increasingly powerful tools. And so we arrive at the promised fork in the road, a fundamental split in how to view the question. We started by exploring the powerful and logical argument. Then, we tested that core assumption. We dug into the critical difference. Finally, we reframed AI not as a potential new subject, but as an extraordinary tool. It comes down to a single, deep assumption about the nature of reality. The choice you make determines whether AI consciousness is a logical next step or a profound category error. Here is the fork, stated clearly. If you believe consciousness is created by matter, that the brain produces it like a factory produces a product, then the possibility of AI consciousness is entirely logical, a straightforward engineering problem. From this perspective, it's only a matter of time before our creations wake up and join us as fellow conscious beings. But there is another path at this fork. There is a second option, and it's this. If consciousness does not originate from matter, if it is not something produced by the brain, then no amount of computation will ever magically become experience. If awareness is more fundamental, something matter receives or interacts with rather than creates from scratch, then building a conscious machine is based on a false premise. You can't create music by arranging rocks. They are the wrong kind of stuff. From this second perspective, what we are seeing in AI is the perfection of simulation, not the birth of experience. We are building ever more sophisticated puppets, and we are starting to mistake the puppet for a real boy. The machine can be a perfect mirror of a mind, but it will never have a mind of its own. It's a tool, not a being. This choice is the heart of the matter. One side, the brain builds consciousness. Other side, the brain is a receiver or filter for consciousness. Science, as it stands, can't answer this for us. It's a choice about how we interpret the world and our place in it. For now, evidence seems to lean toward the second path. We see complexity all around us that isn't conscious. Increasing computation doesn't appear to create experience. It only creates more complex behavior. But there is one scenario where AI becoming conscious makes sense, and it's not the one most experts are talking about. We'll go there in a future conversation. Subscribe so you don't miss it.